Muhammad Ali vs. George Foreman, Rumble in the Jungle, highlights. The world of boxing is quite surprising. One day you're world champion, and the next you're beaten by no less than a rookie. Let's see the highlights of one of the most iconic matches ever in history, Muhammad Ali vs. George Foreman. Muhammad Ali, also known as the world's greatest boxer, unexpectedly had humble beginnings too. This famous boxer was underestimated in his time, which ultimately led to George Foreman's demise. After this American boxer was hailed as the greatest, he was then called the People's Champion and the Louisville Lip. As a young kid, he started showing signs of being one of the greatest boxers alive, and after he was trained, he was shaped enough to beat a world champion. However, don't underestimate the American boxer George Foreman too. Not only did he excel in the boxing world, but he became an author and a minister too. After Big George competed for 30 years, he was hailed as a two-time world heavyweight champion and an Olympic gold medalist. However, these titles didn't come easy. He faced hardships as a child as well, which resulted in amateur boxing. A year later, he became a professional boxer and won the world heavyweight title against the then undefeated Joe Frazier in 1973. Now, so much about getting to know them. The highlights of Rumble in the Jungle is something. Rumble in the Jungle is a match between both Muhammad Ali and George Foreman. But why and how was it named this way? Well, it was an intense heavyweight championship boxing match between Ali and Foreman, which had happened on October 30th, 1974 at the Stade Tata Raphael in Kinshasa, Zaire. In case you did not know, Zaire is now the Democratic Republic of Congo. The match was able to get an audience of an astounding 60,000 people because, of course, it involved the undefeated and the undisputed heavyweight champion. It resulted in Ali winning by knockout in the 8th round, and, well, exactingly, it has been called arguably the greatest sporting event of the 20th century and was a major upset, with Ali coming in as a 4-1 underdog against Foreman, who did not have even one loss at the time. To begin with, who would want to come across and box with the world champion right then and there? But Ali was not one to back out at all. This, after all, is boxing. The match between the two became famous for Ali introducing a new boxing tactic, which was the rope-a-dope tactic. Their boxing match had the world by the throat, and it was the most coveted event of the century. At the time, Ali was famed for his speed and technical skills, while Foreman, on the other hand, was famous for his strength. Denying the usual and going against the book, Ali began by attacking Foreman with disorienting right-hand leads. And even before the game had just started, and just when the match was just announced, every single one of the boxing enthusiasts, and even just regular people, had already predicted Muhammad Ali's win against the infamous George Foreman. Ali had then made use of the right-hand lead punch, which was struck with his right hand without setting up the left, in a great effort to be able to disorient his undefeated opponent. The aggressive tactic had, of course, surprised the undefeated fighter, and it was the chance for Ali to land a few more punches on his head. But unfortunately for Ali, his continuous punches on the head were not enough to significantly hurt Foreman. Foreman, on the other hand, had already been trained to cut off the ring and prevent escape. Of course, in boxing, you should face every punch that comes your way. Being the smart one that he is, Ali had then realized that it would be to his advantage if Foreman could keep making one step to his two, and with that, he decided to change his tactics. By the start of the second round, Ali began the secret plan that he had told his trainer, Angelo Dundee, and his fans. He began to lean on the ropes and cover up, giving Foreman a few chances to hit and punch him on both his arms and his body. As a result, Foreman tired himself, and Ali was nothing but energized as he had done nothing but stay put and cover himself up. Unfortunately for Foreman, although he continuously punched Ali, he earned no points. Soon after the game, this tactic was dubbed by Ali as the rope-a-dope tactic. Smart one, I see. Ali was smart enough to think about tiring out his opponent, and when his opponent gets tired, he takes it as a chance to defeat him. With that, Ali grabbed his opportunity and landed several straight punches on Foreman's face. And of course, with all those punches, it soon became visibly puffy. I mean, I got tired just by looking at it. When they were locked in clinches soon, Ali continuously outboxed Foreman. Ali leaned on Foreman to make his opponent support his weight and held down Foreman's head by pushing on his neck. He had constantly said to Foreman to throw punches when he knew Foreman could not at that specific moment. With that, Foreman became enraged and responded by doing what Ali asked him to do. After several rounds of that, in the 5th round, Foreman became tired and looking very worn out. Unfortunately, Ali continued to taunt Foreman, which had triggered Foreman even more. As the fight slowly drew into the 8th round, Foreman's punching and defense became totally ineffective and inefficient as the strain of throwing so many wild shots took its toll. The fight was able to show how Ali was capable of taking a punch and highlighted his tactical skills. It was also able to show how Foreman is not an easy opponent. Ali pounced on Foreman as he tried to pin Ali on the ropes of the ring, and with that, Ali was able to land several right hooks over Foreman's jab, which was then followed by 5 continuous punches that had then culminated into a left hook, which brought Foreman's head up into a position and a hard right straight to the face that had resulted in Foreman to stumble and fall to the canvas. Fortunately, Foreman had the strength to rise to one knee, but the unfortunate event had happened. The legendary fight's referee, Zach Clayton, had then signaled the end of the fight before George Foreman had really stood up on his 2 feet. It is definitely safe to say that this Rumble in the Jungle match is the match of the century, and even if it would be several years from now, it would still be remembered by not only boxing enthusiasts, but also regular people out there as something legendary. Surely, there would be other legendary matches out there as the time would fly, but there would be nothing that would rival this Rumble in the Jungle. With Foreman being an undefeated one before he met Ali, that sure was a close and unpredictable match. So what happened after that fateful night? Well, after the fight, Foreman and Ali, fortunately, became very good friends. When Ali had trouble walking onto the stage at the 1996 Oscars to receive the Oscar for When We Were Kings, a documentary that was filmed of the fight in Zaire, Foreman helped him walk to the stage to receive the award. But before that, Foreman had been repeatedly calling Ali out, but was unfortunately unable to do the most awaited rematch because of Foreman suddenly deciding to retire after his loss to Jimmy Young in 1977. Muhammad Ali, on the other hand, did not hurry to have a rematch with Foreman, and even made title defenses against other boxing superstars such as Jean-Pierre Koopman and Richard Dunn. Ali had continuously said over the years that his rematch with Foreman would be one of the most wanted matches he would like to do before he would retire. Thankfully, both had remained friends and did not leave any grudges with each other. If it was someone else, it's not doubtable they would most probably have left a huge grudge against Ali after giving their first loss. Some would probably think why they have never had the rematch that they had always wanted. Well, maybe it was not a part of their fate. Maybe they were really not fated to have a rematch, and just remain good friends afterward. Ali thrived in the spotlight at a time when many boxers let their managers do all the talking, and he became renowned because of his provocative and outlandish persona. He was also known for trash talking, and often predicted in which round he would knock out his opponent. Ali remained a worldwide star, but in his later years he made fewer and fewer public appearances as his Parkinson's disease worsened, and he had finally rested in peace in June of 2016. Muhammad Ali's boxing career made a mark in history, and his fight with Foreman is just one of the many great wins in his life. A history-breaking match so bold and brutal surely caught the attention of thousands, and we hope it caught yours too. Make sure you stay connected, and we'll see you on the next one.